Hello, welcome to another new video. We are carrying on the repair to my Franken Cougar. In the previous videos, we stripped the gearbox out the car. We stripped the diff. We reassembled the diff. And now, in this part, we are reassembling the gearbox. Let's refresh. We have the Model Motorsport nylon diff in this gearbox. We have the cougar2 Works Classic lay shaft in this gearbox. We are going to run, or we are still running, my brushed motor, which is what is it? It's an L Power 0. Is it Yokomo? L Power 0. I think it's a 10 double. I'm sure it's a 10 double brushed motor. Anyway. So lay shaft in, diff in, drive shafts connected. Gearbox sides going together. Oh, this is awesome stuff, people. Awesome stuff. Yeah. So, I think the next major part to this will be to set the belt tension. So, previous video we did diff setting, which is very simple. If you want to refresh or watch the video, diff setting is, on this one, it is 1 turn off from tight. So you tighten it all the way down and then you release it by 1 turn, half at a time. And this one I did 1 turn. Sometimes it's like 1.5, sometimes it's 1. This one I did the 1 turn. So anyway, you can watch that in the previous video if you want to. So we're going to reassemble this gearbox. I was very lazy. My lazy bone took over and I couldn't be bothered to take the motor off the gearbox plate. It saved time, people. There was 2 screws on that motor. I saved time by not taking it off. And I'm not wasting any time now at all. Not wasting any time whatsoever doing this. I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have took the motor off. But that's my lazy bone taking over. I couldn't be bothered. Oh, so anyway, so let's recap. So, Model Motorsport diff. I'm not sure if you might be able to get one if you're lucky. If you look on the Fleabay, maybe you might be able to get one. I did see Schumacher Spares, their website. They did have one, a Model Motorsport nylon diff. They did have one for a while. I don't think they've got it anymore. Some pesky little person snapped that up, didn't they? Snap that up. Very nice. Anyway. I've had mine a few decades, maybe 3.5, maybe 3.5 decades. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, they are very good, you know, these Model Motorsport nylon diffs. Very good. I've not upgraded the diff balls. I've left the original diff balls in the diff. I should have upgraded them to, say, tungsten, maybe. But they're doing the job. So I didn't swap them out. in my other diffs, I've got ceramic. I could have smashed some ceramic in. I didn't think of that. It's too late now. I'm not going to take it apart again, just to change the diff balls. Do it next time. I'll replace the diff balls next time I service the diff. But anyway, we are reassembling. Next major task, people, and there is a major task coming, and that is to set the belt tension. Yes, quite straightforward. We are going to use the basic fundamental that you use every time you set belt tension, and that is you line your eccentrics up together, so a mirror either side of the gearbox. That is essential, people. That is a basic tip. Eccentrics need to be identical, so mirror side to side. So if one is 2 o'clock, the other one needs to be 2 o'clock. And then the other basic fundamental to setting belt tension, okay, is when you do it, the end result, you want your belt to move no more than between 1 and 2 millimeters. I know that sounds quite precise, but it's essential. But if you're messing around and you're modding or upgrading, modding, and you're putting a Top Cat Pro diff lay shaft somewhere where it shouldn't be, then you over tension your belt to try and get your belt to grip the pitch of the lay shaft, which that is what I did, and it did work for a very long time until it gave up. But if you want to hear the full story, it is in part 1, the story of the lay shaft. So now let's get down to the nitty gritty. The eccentrics are in the old position. I have not moved them yet. They are in the old position for the other lay shaft, the Top Cat / Cougar Pro diff lay shaft. So the belt is loose, and there is another fundamental that the novice builder might not be aware, that your eccentrics don't always stay in the same place. Say you build one car, you set your eccentrics, say for example, to 2 o'clock on each side. Then you build another car, and then you go, oh, I'm going to set my eccentrics to 2 o'clock. And then you go, oh, my belt's too loose. Because you don't always necessarily set them in the same place. It is individual to every time you put a belt in, or you adjust your diff, or you put a new lay shaft in. It's not necessarily going to stay in the same place all the time. The eccentrics is designed to adjust the belt tension between the diff and the lay shaft. So don't get hung up on where your eccentrics is set, as long as you pay attention to your belt tension. This is to the novice builder. This is quite essential. I'm not saying ignore your eccentrics. I don't even look at where they're set, to be fair. The only time I look at my eccentrics is to make sure they are symmetrical. So I set one and I jiggle the other at the same time, and then I go, oh, is the left one the same as the right one? And then if it's not, then I make sure they are. So that is a basic fundamental. The eccentrics need to be symmetrical. And the other fundamental is the belt needs to be it needs to have movement of between 1 and 2 millimeters. It's quite hard to work out the 1 to 2 millimeters, but when you press it down with your bony finger, or you can even do it with a screwdriver, thin blade of a screwdriver, if you press your belt down, you will see it move. And that is kind of a fundamental. So if you stick to the rules, you will never have a problem. Never have an issue. Technically, it's rinse and repeat, people. What you do it many times and you get the hang of it. These are alloy eccentrics. They make the adjusting, they make it easier, or they just make it better. But the other issue is these gearbox sides are old, or quite old, or vintage. They are vintage. They've been used for a bit. And what's happened is the aluminium from the gearbox screw is protruding. So the eccentric is getting stuck on that bit of aluminium where the screw has bit into it. So it's sticking out. So really they need sanding down, really, the sides. But we're not going to bother doing that. So I'm double checking that the eccentrics are symmetrical. I'm giving my bony thumb the quick 1 to 2 millimeter test. I'm double checking symmetry. There you go, look. See, because the screw threads have made the aluminium protrude out of the gearbox, I'm struggling to twist the eccentric. It's getting stuck. It's a burr. There's a burr on the thread, which is making the eccentric get stuck. That is the only thing I'm struggling with. Plus, it needs to get into position. It's not on the bearing properly either, so that is a tiny issue. I mean, over the years, I've always done this the same way. I've not screwed my gearbox completely together. I've made sure the lay shaft is secure, and I've made sure the diff is supported with the eccentrics, but I've always done this the same way. I've never screwed in one eccentric, put the other side of the gearbox on, and then started adjusting. I've always done it with everything technically loose. Yeah, because you get a feel for it, people. You get a feel for it. See, look, then, see that? That was an example of me checking the symmetry of the eccentrics. I went from right to left and I double checked. Here you go. Oh, wow, people. This is what I've just described. I've just described all this. So, eccentrics, symmetrical, belt tension 1 to 2 millimeters. See, what's that? That is 10 past. That's 2 o'clock. Wow. I've even predicted the eccentrics to be at 2 o'clock. That's amazing. Oh, that one's not 2 o'clock, though, is it? That one is, let's say 10 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So, excuse me. So, eccentrics, happy. Yeah, belt tension, happy. Let's get these pesky little screws in. Yeah. This gearbox is a mix of hex screws and straight headed pan screws, because I was going to fit the hex screws in, but because the sides are quite old, the screw holes won't take M2 hex. Was it M.25? I think it's 0.25. Yeah. Yeah, so the actual hole in the eccentrics is 2.5, but the hole, because it's been they just won't fit. Just won't fit. So that's why this gearbox has got a mixture of hex and straight panhead screws, because it's very old gearbox parts, very old. I could do with alloy bearing housings, to be fair. Yeah. I don't know why I've not got alloy bearing housings. I think I might get some. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, people, let's call it done on this video. And thanks for watching. And join me on the next one. And later.